All right. Well, it looks like it's about time to gonna have to make some videos now. I got to clear some things up because most of you work jobs and are pretty busy, and it's really hard to keep up with everything that's going on, particularly in the MAGA movement. I mean, if trends continue the way they are right now, MAGA's finished. I mean, it's completely finished. Um, there is an emergent, as I pointed out maybe a couple months ago, before people were talking about this, that suddenly there's this anti-Semite movement within the right that has led up to and including an indictment of Donald Trump. Candace Owens is easily going to suck 5 to who knows 10 million possible votes a year ahead of the midterms. So you got Candace Owens, you got Tucker Carlson. Now Megyn Kelly's jumped on the bandwagon. Benny Johnson is soon to follow. You got total Nazi admitted fascists like Nick Fuentes, who is proud of the fact that he hates Jews. He talks about it all the time. Tucker Carlson has him on his show, and it's a love fest, and Tucker Carlson doesn't even ask him a complicated question. They're new fast buddies. Candace Owens has blamed everybody for the Charlie Kirk assassination. This is a short list because I'm going to make a video tonight that's going to be a lot more exhaustive. And once you watch it, you're going to absolutely see that all these conspiracy theorists behind, and I hate saying conspiracy theorist because I used to be somebody that would always be considered the tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist until recent historic events have proven us right. The new conspiracy theorists are giving us a really, really bad name. So if you didn't know this was happening, Candace Owens has basically blamed President Trump for being in on, if not at least complicit, concerning the Charlie Kirk assassination. She has blamed Erica Trump, but she does it by not deliberately saying it. She says everybody close to Charlie was in on it. All of Turning Point USA, and she said that ever since Erica Kirk has taken over TPUSA, and then turns around and claims, I didn't say that, and then Megyn Kelly goes to bat for her. Megyn Kelly will not call out Candace Owens. Matt Walsh will not call them out, and they are spewing the most Nazi rhetoric. Candace Owens has even said favorable things about Adolf Hitler, or she denies the Holocaust. Her and Tucker Carlson are claiming, and this is not taking anything out of context, they're claiming that Israel is simply committing genocide, as Candace puts it, the real genocide, that's a quote, in killing children. According to Tucker, they love killing children. They kill children, they don't even care, like they target children, right? They don't care at all about October 7th, a couple years ago. That has nothing to do with it. Israel defending herself, even though they drop flyers in, they try to get food in to the people, they try to get the people to move out of the target zones, and they announce ahead of time where they're going to attack. Now, who does that, right? I'm not going to go into an explanation of that. If you are one of these idiots that somehow blames Israel and all this, I mean, you're part of that weird, twisted, fringe right thing. There's no getting through to you. But this is more intended for the people that, because I've talked to a lot of people that were still fans of like Candace Owens. I used to be, and I mean recently, and they're like, what? Because they don't follow these things. I happen to have a night shift job. I have more time to look into these things. So this is not a criticism. Other than the people that really just don't want to pay attention, which is the way Americans generally are. So Candace Owens has blamed some Mormon beehive cult. So the Mormons are in on this assassination. Egypt is in on it because there was an Egyptian airplane nearby getting serviced. Just disregarding the fact that Egypt was the major push when you go back to the early Arab-Israeli wars, like back in, 1967, 1973, Yom Kippur War. Anybody that's been following it, right after 1948, they were invaded. And somehow Egypt wants to get rid of Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was going to turn on Israel. And we know how important Egypt is. or Israel is to Egypt, right? I mean, that's just laughable. And it's going right over their heads. Candace has 4 million mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging worshipers in her weird little cult. And nobody will even call her out for it. They don't even pay attention to it in the news. So pay very close attention to every conservative commentator that you used to think you could trust, because anybody who still hasn't addressed this, either somebody has something on them or they're part of this movement that is deliberately intended to destroy the MAGA movement from within. And I'm going to demonstrate this on this video, and it's undeniable. I will easily and completely debunk everything that they said concerning a 30-06, which I have a rifle that's nearly identical from the same era. And many of you, if you're from CAMI, you of course know that bullets and the way they land are completely unpredictable. The text message that supposedly was fake, and I'm going to bring out every place that these people have all contradicted themselves. The reason I'm saying all this is because this movement is gaining a lot of traction. A lot of traction. Nick Fuentes is like one of the most popular podcasts out there. He is the most popular amongst young men. And the young men of Gen Z or whatever it is are the generation that has grown up most proportionally when it comes to fatherless homes. So they're much more vulnerable. And if you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, you're going to find out, and you should probably educate yourself now. But these people represent millions. Tucker Carlson, he's still got his people standing by him, and Tucker Carlson has recently praised Sharia law, praised Hamas. I'm not making this up. This is not an exaggeration. Sharia law. I'll have the clip in my video, okay? And he wishes that we would have a system of, his own words, feudalism. He is pro-feudalism. If you don't know what that word is, look it up. Okay, this is all stuff on record. This is who these people really, really are. And if this goes unchecked, which conservative punditry, if you want to call that, they're deliberately ignoring this. They are acting precisely the way liberals do as far as lying by omission and leaving out the news that doesn't fit their narrative. And it's really suspicious. It's really odd. So we don't really know who these people are or were for quite a while. And then there's this character, Ian Carroll, who's also part of this whole thing. And he lives right here in Boise, Idaho, or Eagle. And I mean, he's met with Candace Owens and Joe Rogan, and he's right here in Boise, and he goes down to the old State Street Saloon. And he is also actively putting the axe to the MAGA movement. So I'm suspicious of the old State Saloon as well in Eagle, because they came out of nowhere not too long ago from some guy from California. He appealed very strongly to people around here because he had a celebration of heterosexual thing going on, which I love. That's what attracted me to him, because I'm one of those people that's just like, I don't care if you're gay or not. I'm just like, I know a lot of gay people actually who are sick of the whole thing. They don't, this whole in your face, you have to celebrate me and so on thing. There's a lot of gay people that really hate it as well. They don't like being represented this way. There is a lot to unpack. So even if one person watches my video or one person knows, tell somebody else, because we got midterms coming up. And this is the strangest thing of all. And you got to think about this. If you have people on the right that are literally saying pro-Nazi things, pro-Adolf Hitler things, and the people that are saying it are the people that helped Trump get to office, in at least my eyes, and they're the people that are some of the biggest names in the right. If you notice, you would think the left would be all over this, right? I mean, why wouldn't they be? This is like, look, everything we're saying about them is right. They're racist, this and that. They are radio silent on it. Think about that. Do you think they're going to be silent about it when the midterms come up? Do you think that Tucker Carlson doesn't realize that, and Candace Owens doesn't realize that, and Matt Walsh doesn't realize that, and Benny Johnson doesn't realize that, and Megyn Kelly doesn't realize that? And they are attacking Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro is I'm not a fan of him when he was a never Trumper, but he's always been honest about how he feels. And he's smoking all these people when it comes to Israel. And Megyn Kelly just pulled a dirty move on him because he said that basically Candace Owens is blaming Erica Kirk, and she is. She has said everything around it to where you could only come to the conclusion that, of course, it includes Erica Kirk. But she didn't say the sentence, Erica Kirk was in on it. But if you watch her, anybody that has any brains knows you don't have to directly say that exact sentence to be suggesting, not just suggesting, but claiming something. It's the absolute truth. And then once Ben Shapiro was no longer on Megyn's tour stage, then she came out and, called Ben Shapiro a liar. And Candace Owens ran with that. Oh, Megyn Kelly's great. It's good to have somebody. But Megyn Kelly has never called Candace Owens out. She's been proven to be a liar. I can go down every list I can go down a list off the top of my head that would take another 20 minutes of this video time, and I would still miss some stuff. I've been holding off on making videos and everything. I've become almost to the point where it's like, God's going to give people over to their debased minds. He's going to give them a great delusion. It's in the Bible. But the really scary part is all these people are using the Bible as their reference. They have no understanding of the Bible. I have a ministry degree. I graduated from a Bible college, and I do not consider myself an expert. Like, to me, I've barely scratched the surface, but it's like I'm a PhD in theology compared to these Neanderthals that are quoting the Bible as a reason to be anti-Semitic. It is unbelievable how they're not even cherry picking the Bible. They're basically looking at what other people have said and cutting and pasting. Now, Tucker Carlson is out there on huge stages with lots of people. And he's, as a Christian, and if you just listen to him, you realize he's not a Christian. If people say, oh, you can't judge that. Yeah, you can. The Bible does say that. You can actually judge certain things. I'm tired of explaining basic biblical concepts to people. But people are now focusing on people like Tucker Carlson for like biblical truths. And everything he says is idiotic. He said something like, governance in America was based on the New Testament. And it's like, no, it wasn't. Was it biblical? Well, yeah. Was it guided by biblical Christian principles? Absolutely. But as far as legally, it's based on the Old Testament. The Old Testament is all about the law. If you look at the New Testament doesn't really talk about enforcing law so much. Jesus came to free us from the impossible criteria of the law that we cannot live up to. It doesn't invalidate the law, okay? Those 10 commandments are still sacred, and they are, everything they say is what you shouldn't do, right? So these people are completely ignorant. They don't know anything about Scripture. But I'm telling you, the masses in America, we already have the American church is always terribly shaky ground, really shaky ground. You have people that are appointed to be pastors and speakers that they literally they're charlatans. I mean, they're the Pharisees of the day, and let's put it this way: they're the Pharisees. They're the skinny jeans Pharisees. Let's just call them that. So anyway, this video already went on longer than I wanted to, but if you don't know about this stuff, you need to be looking into it because we are about to lose everything that President Trump has fought for. They've already forgotten about lower prescription drugs, sealing the border. He's done more in his first 6, 8, 9 months of his presidency than all of the presidents that have been during my lifetime combined. And I have been let me just skip that word. I have been intensely observant and interested in politics since I was probably 10 years old. So when you observe things over a long term and you really get things ingrained in you and you start to gain discernment, this new MAGA movement I was concerned about, it's like the parable of the sower of the seeds. It's got no roots, There was a lot of good that came of it, but there's no roots there. People are already forgetting. Americans have they have the memory of a gnat. They have the concentration of a gnat, and we are in no way secure. I don't predict that. I would honestly say it's very feasible at this point that we lose both the House and the Senate. I mean, based on a virulently anti-Semitic, hateful Muslim who just became the mayor, communist, extreme socialist that just became the mayor of New York City, and the governorship of Virginia, where the guy basically said it would be good if his opponent's children were died or tortured or something like that in the recent election. America is really rotting at the core, and we just don't see it because we put the pedal to the metal when Trump was there, and like typical Americans, now we're lazy, apathetic, and we're not paying attention. So, and if you want, and I hate the new terminology. If you want, I'm going to bring the receipts. I hate that language. I don't like griper, and I don't like grifter. And I, for the longest time, didn't even look up gaslighting, even though it's an old term. I just really hate trendiness, and so everything's trendy, but then I'm just, bitching about stuff that really doesn't matter at this point. So I'm just going to throw it out there, and people can ignore it. People usually do, or Facebook, because of my association with certain likes and sites, which I'm not doing on this Facebook page anymore. Everything, my content, anything that has to do with politics, they have algorithms that pick up on if you share a certain YouTube video or you use certain keywords like I do. You get shadow banned, you get shoved to the bottom. So I don't even know if anybody sees these videos or if anybody cares or if people do watch them and they just don't want to hit the like button or comment because people basically are scared to death of being associated with anything, even if it's the real thing, because they don't want to become unpopular and they don't want to be associated with the things they actually believe in. So I'll just leave you with that for right now because why? Because I have to go to Walmart.